This is the intro to the intro. I'm gonna make this super duper quick. Whenever the podcast starts, you are going to hear me and Adriana talking off record. We were having a conversation before we officially started the podcast, but it was just so raw. We even joked about recreating the moment, but some things you just can't recreate. So I chose to just leave that portion in. So you're gonna hear that in the beginning. This is probably one of the most raw and real conversations. I'm so excited for you guys to hear this podcast because there's so much depth, but yet also so lighthearted. I loved this conversation. I'm so excited for the viewers and the listeners to hear it and absorb it, take it in, take what's yours, leave the rest. Last thing, this is actually episode 81. Part 2 is coming very, very soon. If you like this episode, please don't forget to share it with your friends, share it to your Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are on socials. It helps the channel out so much. Thanks, guys. Enjoy. And just to give you kind of a rundown for what's coming, where did you grow up? How did you get into mortgages? Stuff that's,
pretty natural.
Yeah. Biggest success, biggest struggle to overcome, female in a male-dominated industry, and then key things that you want people to know about Clear KC. And then we're going to end with a section on Stack.
Yeah, perfect. So and don't feel bad about it. It's actually Clear Mortgage. Clear KC, we use that as our domain.
Okay.
Clear Mortgage, and we can talk about this this would have been good. See, this is good content.
Clear Mortgage.
It's Clear Mortgage, but a lot of people do that because our domain is clearkc.com. So anytime,
you mean your email?
Yeah, our domain name. Yeah, so our website, everything says Clear KC because Clear Mortgage was taken. And I didn't want to spell out mortgage because no one puts the T in mortgage.
No one knows.
And then no one knows. And then I also didn't want to do like Clear Mortgage LLC with a weird hyphen. So Clear KC was really easy for us to then, when we opened up Clear Florida, it's now Clear FL. And then Clear North Carolina is Clear Carolinas.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's a play on, but it's actually Clear Mortgage.
Hello, we're starting. This is episode number 80 with Adriana.
You've done 80 episodes?
Yes.
That is fabulous.
80. Yes, we're on episode number 80. Thank you for the button applause that we have. With Adriana Bates with Clear Mortgage, Clear KC.
It's so cute.
Yes.
We just went over this.
Yes. So right before the podcast started, I said, I was like literally going through the show notes and I'm like, hey, Clear KC. She was like, oh wait, no.
Everyone does it. So I was like, please don't feel bad because it's our actual company name is Clear Mortgage. But I was just telling her, like, the domains, when you're starting a business and going through an entrepreneurial journey, like, you really, really want to know what your domain looks like and like what your outward appearance is to potential clients and referral partners. Yeah. So I was like, I don't want to do like an underscore and a hyphen in my domain.
No.
So Clear KC with hopes to expand and grow in different branches and things like that. I was just going to change the end. So for us here in the Kansas City area, it's Clear KC. In the North Carolina, South Carolina market, it's Clear Carolinas. In our Florida branch, Clear FL. You know what I mean? So it's just for domain purposes. Yeah. But it's happened quite a bit. Everyone's like, oh, you're with Clear KC. I'm like, yeah, it's Clear Mortgage, whatever.
Yes. Okay, so to clarify, one more time, Clear Mortgage, just to be
It's Clear Mortgage, to make it very clear, pun intended.
Yes. Pun is, oh my God. Yeah, thank you. That was so quiet.
Oh, there it
is. Okay. So first and foremost, as always, let's start off with a review. This is from Cassie B. Cassie says, Warren & Mount's made it easy to shop for new policies. Dustin explained the coverages in a way no other insurance broker agent has to us. Amanda took care of the rest and saw the process all the way through. The cards in the mail were a nice touch as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you to Cassie B. We appreciate you. Leave us a review if you haven't.
That's so awesome. Yeah, of course I would. I need to ask you, side note, like what your process is for asking for Google reviews, because we know that's a huge part of growing a business.
Yeah.
So as we talk into the business stuff, I would love to hear what your follow-up looks like, how much is too much for asking to them, how stalkerish do you get for them to leave you that review?
Yeah. We have a system called Easy Links, and we have like a follow-up system. So we go, it's literally like check boxes. You just check each box. We send out ID cards. We add ask about a review. We always follow up and ask about life insurance too.
Yeah.
So whenever we're talking about home and auto, we generally don't talk about life insurance. We're trying to get this thing closed. And then we try to follow up with, hey, have you talked about life insurance? Do you have it through your work? If you do, don't, like, let's talk about it.
I feel like it should be the easiest sell, especially after closing on a home.
Yes.
Because I know that they're fear-based sold by all the junk mail that they get.
Yeah.
With those, like, Gerber policies that come through. And then what happens if you die to your mortgage? Those mailers.
Absolutely. And, you know, just general population, what happens is people buy a home and then they're having kids.
Yep.
And so just kind of like the natural flow of the general population, that's kind of what should come next after you close on your home auto. So anyway, the next section of the podcast, we always talk about peak and pit.
Oh,
so something
like
that's
the highs
going,
and lows?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So something that's going really, really well for me. This podcast is a peak for me. We have been running into scheduling conflicts to get Adriana on the podcast. So that's
totally my fault.
Oh my God, it doesn't even matter whose fault it is. It's just the fact that you're here and we get to talk to you and we get to learn all the things. She got here like so many hours early. It was supposed to start at 3:00 and she was like, hey, can I just like come early? I'm like, yeah, duh.
I did. I like posted up and made the Mounts Agency my office for the day, which I'm so eternally grateful for.
Yes.
It's slightly a hike for me. So I was like, look, if I don't go out now, I had back to back to back. Like that's one of my ultimate flaws is that I stack my schedule way too tight. In my mind, I think that I can make those little mini transitions work, but they never work, you know, because someone always is behind. So anyways, I knew if I didn't get here at like 10:30.
Yeah. And it worked out great because we had such a good conversation and you got to tell us about some things that I wouldn't have known about on the front end. So yes, having you here, getting you on the podcast, doing the thing is like totally my peak.
We should have done more content. We could have done like a get ready with me.
Okay, peak.
Peak for me. We're going to talk about a project that I'm working on, Stack.
Yeah.
Stack, I just had a really good call with one of those calls with our dev team on the progress that we're making. I've always been a utilizer of technology and I've never been a creator of technology and had no idea what goes on behind the scenes to create some tech, you know, just in its software. It's not even something huge, you know. It's just a lot of work and a lot of little things that you have no idea. For salespeople, our language is very different than technology people. Yeah. And sometimes it's difficult to translate the two.
Sure. Yeah.
So had a really good call. So that's a peak.
That's good. That's really good. Those are better than bad calls.
Yeah, for sure. You're like, actually, it's going to be way more money.
Yeah. Those are not fun.
Those are not fun.
Pit, something that's not going so well. Honestly, in this moment, it is effing hot in here.
Is it? Yeah. Don't you feel good though?
In my
opinion, I've been working in this office this whole time.
Do you think it's fine?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. I'm not even sweating.
Okay. I won't judge you.
I won't judge you back. Yeah. Because maybe you're running hot today.
I think I am. So,
but
in
she
the
looks
present
beautiful.
moment, thank you.
Are people watching us on YouTube?
Maybe? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then you'll see for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, just know that I'm
She does not look, she's not glowing like listening at all. You're not sweating.
No, it's not sweat. It's just beauty. Okay, so Pitt, for you, what's going on?
Dude, I lost a producer today.
Today?
Right before. But again, we talked about it. I walked in and I was like, guys, guess what email I just got? He couldn't even call me on the phone. Dang. So the word to the wise, look, if you are not going to move forward with an employer, call them on the phone. Yeah. Have a conversation. Yeah. I'm not going to beg. I'm not going to stand in the way for whatever you're supposed to be doing and whatever your grand plan should be. Yeah. But I am going to remind you hey, these were the things that we talked about. Yeah. What could I do better? What could I have done better as a leader? What could I have done better for your opportunities? Yeah. He wants to go to a place that feeds him leads. So he's going to go to a place that's more call center.
Sure.
Where we produce is more relationship based, referral based, you're out going and killing what you're going to eat, basically.
So is that like a head or a heart impact for you?
Head, financially, heart, I taste things personally and I'm working on that. Yeah. So it's both for me. the head-wise, it hurts our bottom line, but he wasn't really producing a lot anyway, so how much is that really? Yeah. That's slightly ego-driven too. As you're building out a company, you want to say you have this many producers or this many staff, members, but he wasn't producing anyway, so it's not really going to be a head hurt. Like, he's not going to hurt us financially that much at all. He wasn't contributing. It's more, I take that heart hurt because I feel like I put in a lot of energy and a lot of time.
Yes.
Especially trying to lead people and make them successful, because their success is a reflection of my success in my eyes. And I feel like I failed them in a weird way, which I will have to get over, but this isn't therapy.
Yes.
Should be.
Yeah. I feel like there should be like a separate sector for like business therapy.
It's different. And it's, in the grand scheme of things, it's all like our reactions are all based on trauma. Like, am I good enough?
Yeah.
It's all trauma from our past.
Yeah. And I think the key there is acknowledging that it's there, even if you don't fully have it figured out yet. Like, okay, cool.
But feel it.
Yeah, feel it.
And it still
sucks. Experience it. And it hurts. You know what? This hurts. It sucks. For a long time, I was someone who, stuff and like deal with it later.
Oh, yeah.
It's not
and then it balls
the most
up
productive
and
way to
explode.
live.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you're learning that with everything. Like, it comes out eventually.
Yes.
Or you become so shut off to those emotions that it's affecting you negatively in other ways, right? Like, if we're not open to those experiences, then we're leading that way, right? Like, we almost lead way too cold.
Yeah.
So it makes me sad. And that was my voicemail to him was, hey, I'm bummed, dude.
Yeah.
Do I think, I'm not calling to convince you not to go to another company.
Mm-hmm.
I did like laugh and be like, your splits are going to be way less because, and I was like, do you want to like convert leads? Like, I don't know. Don't you want to work with people that want to work with you? I tried to just leave him a nice like voicemail and be like, obviously I'm sad, but hey.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of one of the suck parts of being a business owner. It has a lot of suck parts, but it also has a lot of peaks and amazing things about it.
But I think you're a lot like me. Like, look how much time we've spent on the pit, right? Yeah. You're a lot like me. We don't celebrate ourselves enough. We should celebrate.
Yeah.
I even have a hard time like coming up with a peak. There's been so many good things that have happened, but we don't take time to like embrace it and celebrate it and be proud of ourselves, because we're always like, on to the next big one. Especially, we should celebrate ourselves a little bit more.
100%. You're so right. Okay, so I want to know a little bit more about you and how we got to this moment. So take us back. Where did you grow up?
Yeah.
How did you get here? Are you originally from the Kansas City area?
No, you can probably tell by like the cadence of how fast I speak that I'm not originally from the U.S.
Can I guess?
Yes, you can guess.
East.
Yes, totally east.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So east.
That's as far as I can guess.
Upstate. We're not drinking. If there was alcohol involved, my accent would totally come up, because I've been here for 13 years. So now Midwest is home. Kansas City's home now.
Yeah.
I'm from upstate New York.
Yeah.
Okay. Grew up. I have an Asian mother. So it explains a ton of my overachiever personality, right?
Yeah.
Love my mom. She did the best she could. But there's a lot of things that in the way the Asian culture is, we're always striving for achievement to be recognized and loved. So a lot of my validation comes from what next goal can I achieve? What can I be the best? Can I be the top? So I played sports my whole life. Went to Brown for my undergrad. Played basketball there, and then came out to the Midwest and did a dual program at Washington University and SLU in St. Louis for my master's degree.
Yeah.
Okay, failed my mother, didn't go to med school, fine. Obviously still have trauma on that, but we're dealing with it. And went to WashU SLU, came to Kansas City, I graduated right 2008, so economy was, can we curse on this podcast? It was in the shitter. Okay, so it was bad.
Yeah.
I got like one job offer from like a urban planning type of job, and it was such a low salary. So I got recruited to come interview for a mortgage company here in Kansas City, and took the job, and then met my now husband in the Grand Falloon.
Worth it.
Totally worth it. In the wild, no apps here, baby. Like, didn't swipe anywhere. This is before all of that, you young children. We're like dating. You actually had to go out to places and meet people.
You met someone. What do they say? IRL in real life.
Is that what that means? IRL? Yeah. Oh my God. For the longest time, I didn't know what SMH meant. I was like, sm. I was like, what is sm? Like, I thought it was like sm. You know what I mean? Like a word that, like a sound effect. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, sm. It's actually shaking my head. See, we're gonna have fun. There's no alcohol in these Stanleys.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate
We are totally
thing.
Like
This is sober.
Do you know what you need to? Speaking of entrepreneurial podcasts, like, have you heard of like the Stanley rebrand and how that actually took off with influencer marketing? Dude, you need to listen to that podcast. I'll have to send it to you. I think it was Planet Money or something like that, where they actually went. Stanley was like this men's manly camping rough. Like not as cute as North Face, but very like outdoorsy brand.
Sure.
And
so more masculine.
Before influencer marketing ever happened, it was influencer marketing. One blogger, this is when blogs were still like the main thing. Not that they're not the main thing, but it was the main thing. Like a blogger said that this was the best way for her to get her water in. And they started like really going all in on influencer marketing.
Well, it worked.
It freaking worked. Now we want to know all the different colors.
We do want it in all the different colors. I 100% believe that this is an overhyped situation.
It's not even easy to carry, guys. Like this handle, yes, it makes it a little bit, but I like can't loop my arm under it. I try to carry all my bags. I've got it like in my armpit. Like, do you know what I mean?
Woman, like probably looks. I always am so.
We're like so struggling trying to carry this stupid.
I am
water.
So self-confident,
self-conscious
about like the way that I'm like carrying my backpack, and then I've got my.
We are 1,000% bag ladies.
But we probably all look the same.
Wait till you have children, because then you don't even realize you have spit up down your blazer and like your hair is like totally matted in the back of your head because really you didn't even shower, so you're just trying to comb over. And,
yes.
Long story short, honestly, more functional is probably the Aqua Jug that has a strap that can go crossbody. Not as cute, not as trendy. So we stick with our very non-functional Stanleys.
Not sponsored.
Definitely not sponsored, but should be.
We should be.
Wait, did I finish my story?
Hello. Okay, we sounded funny there.
It's probably me. I move a lot.
No,
like
you have not.
Rough on your equipment.
You met your husband.
Yes, so I stayed here. In all honesty, the mortgage world isn't great, but I like money and I like achievement. And I feel like in the Midwest, when you're a very smart and aggressive female, you can move really quickly. You move fast. It's like, and this is not ego driven at all. It's like big fish, small pond here. Whereas in the East Coast, there's a lot of competition. Yes. And so the pond is just smaller here for me anyways. And mortgage was the first true job that I had where you were rewarded directly for how hard you worked. Yeah. I didn't have kids. Sean was still playing ball. At this point, he was playing 100% overseas. So he was gone for big season. So all I did was work. And I loved it. I made a lot of money. And then just kind of worked my way up. Yeah. And then eventually, as we all do, we hit ceilings that are either self-imposed or imposed by the industry. Yeah. And then I was like, I want to do this on my own. When Sean decided he didn't want to play anymore, I convinced him of the best investment ever. Let's start a business together, babe. Oh, God.
So did that go over well at first? And
no.
It was,
like, if anyone that said, no, I had to, like, it was probably one of my hardest sells to convince him to give me his money to start the company because he's originally from Hays, Kansas, like Hays, America, like Western, like liked cash, didn't want any risky investments. It's still that way in our personalities. Like I'm all risk, pedal to the metal, like let's push everything as hard as we can. He's very conservative, slower moving, process, very logic.
Yeah. He's a Kansas person and you're an East Coast person.
Yes, exactly. So I think it gave him some anxiety, but then fortunately for us, when we started the company 2018-19, just had a baby. I was probably now that I look back, like postpartum, my hormones were so I was probably even more insane because I just had this child, our third child. Yeah. It was chaos at home, but we went into one of the most aggressive housing markets that we've had, both in the real estate side and in the mortgage interest rate side. So
what year was this, you think?
So 2019, COVID hit in March.
Oh, wow.
So, so it was like, it takes a couple years, as you know, for any company to kind of get off the ground and go. And we hit our stride when the rates went to the lowest they've been in my entire career and in the history of mortgage. It was the most aggressive rate environment that we've had ever. It was the best production years that we could have, even as what we would call purchase-focused mortgage company. So we didn't focus on refinances. They were icing on the cake, but we had so many coming in that we were making triple what we were used to making, and we were just profitable, and it was great. But it was also super stressful because as you know, the busier you get, the more pieces you want to scale in your business, but you have to slow down to go fast, you know? And I want to go fast all the time. I don't like to slow down.
I know. And you're so right. You really do have to.
Yeah. And if you don't slow down to go fast, you're going fast, it's just going to crash and burn.
Yeah, because you don't know, you haven't stopped to kind of take a look around and do a little proof.
Oh, I know for dang sure you guys do exactly what I do. You're like, oh my gosh, we have so much, let's just get a body in here. And then we'll just fill the gaps.
Yeah.
You don't have a very true job description. You don't have a very clear expectation.
We did that 100%.
See, so we've gone through the same things. Yeah. And it's so painful and heartbreaking.
Yeah,
afterwards.
it is.
And exhausting.
Yeah. And I look back now, and of course, hindsight's 2020. And I'm like, okay, here's where but you have to go through that. You have to just.
Yeah. I think that makes us better leaders. Our journey is what's going to make us eventually the best leaders and where we really, truly want to be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
See, look at how sidetracked we get. I told you, this is going to be the easiest podcast. It's so conversational.
Yeah, it is. It's so good. So this is ultimately how you got into mortgage.
Yeah, I didn't want to be in mortgage. I had no idea what mortgage was. I knew when I first was even thinking about buying a house, it was when President Obama had put out this first-time homebuyer grant. I was young. I was just starting my master's. I was like, oh, I should look into this. And I started looking into the process of a mortgage and what a mortgage was, blah, 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 all that. But I had no intentions of ever getting into the mortgage world. And honestly, you've probably had a lot of mortgage people in this seat, right?
One.
Oh, only one?
I believe, yeah.
I guarantee if you speak to most people that are in mortgage, none of them had intentions of actually getting into mortgage. It was something they either fell into, their family recommended it, they took the job and didn't. No one, and same thing with insurance. You don't go to school to go into insurance, which
I'm
there
from dentistry.
Should be. See?
Yeah.
But you had great customer service, great process orientation, I'm sure. I guarantee you love checking all the boxes of knowing this is exactly what I do. Were you a hygienist?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. And you loved the satisfaction of taking care of your clients.
Yeah, I did. It was the thing that kind of drove me away was the repetitive. Sometimes I would literally end up asking one patient the same questions because I'm like, oh shit, I already asked you how your day was. You've already answered this. But it was that, and then I could I had an honest conversation can I do this for 40 years?
No. But you learned things.
I totally learned things.
In that career.
I learned the value of a very well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And I learned the value of communication within the office.
I'm sure.
Teamwork. If you walk into a well-oiled or a well-functioning, high-functioning dental office,
it's
that's
a killer
some cool
process.
Shit to be a part of. But for me, I knew that my potential was greater than what I had access to in dentistry.
Your personality profile will tell you that you weren't going to be a dental hygienist for 40 years. Your personality profile told you might have bought a dental practice in the future.
Yeah.
But because you do have some of that SC, we talk DISC language here. Everyone's like, oh, are they talking Enneagram? Are they talking whatever? But no, I'm referencing DISC. You do have some of that SC where you're like, okay, I want to see how this is run and run well. But in the end, I'm going to own it.
Yeah. And I'm creative, very creative. So I also love thinking about okay, the design and the architecture, whatever. But then also okay,
and the aesthetic. 1000% giving you all of this aesthetic, by the way.
Of course. And how is this place going to function? How are these people going to communicate? Having to figure out those problems is, you have to get creative with it sometimes.
Of course.
And it's just fun. There's a thrill to it, there's a thrill and a satisfaction to chasing something down and then getting it. I don't know. There's just something to it.
100%. Except that until we figure out our traumas, we're always going to be chasing. Yeah. There's never we won't get that final satisfaction, which is what I'm working on. That's some of the work that I'm doing, is trying to figure out not to chase all the time. And to be grateful in where we are in the 100%. Present.
Yes.
Be present and be grateful for where we are.
Yes. My tattoo says be here now.
See? I need that shit. I need that on my forehead. So I see it everywhere.
Same. Same.
I should put it on my hand.
Yeah. Whenever you're looking at yourself in the mirror, can you imagine? Okay, yes. I wanted to go back to your mom. So how did you deal with, or did you deal with this sense of letting her down?
Oh, no, I think I'm still dealing with that on a daily basis. So a piece of the work that I'm doing now is like a trigger journal. When I feel triggered, honestly, I was so immune to feeling emotion. Like I just shoved it, like what we talked about. I shoved it away. I didn't even feel it, that I convinced myself in my head that I didn't even get triggered. Like I didn't have triggers. I'm like, I don't get triggers. I'm not triggered at all. That's a problem in itself. Like we're all triggered by different things. Yeah. Like for example, I was triggered today when I lost that producer. When the producer decided that Clear Mortgage was not his home any longer, yes. I was triggered way back to my mom because I felt that I wasn't enough and I felt abandonment there. My mom was there. I don't know. See, I'm still doing the work. Like, I don't know where this fear of abandonment comes from because my parents were there. They were together. This is still work that I'm trying to figure out. Like, why is the true feeling that I'm feeling fear of abandonment and fear of being alone, or like not being enough? Like, where is that coming from? I don't know. But I didn't deal with it well, is my point. I went through a lot of self-sabotaging behaviors, probably through college, of not feeling worthy, of trying to find affirmation and love from outward sources instead of from myself. Absolutely. Right? And what I try to practice now on a daily basis, and some of the work that I'm doing is like, hey, look at myself like I'm that young child again, and be like, you know what? You're a badass at what you do. You're doing great. Not everyone is going to love you. Isn't there like some rule, like or someone says this, I don't even know who it is. Some will, some won't. So what? Some will love you. So true. Some won't. But who cares? Like, who cares? If we have enough love and like admiration for ourselves, none of all this stuff will matter. Amen. See, I can say it. How come I can't live it yet?
Yeah, I know. It is definitely, from my experience, it is a discipline. It is a discipline. And I actually feel like I'm a very disciplined person, but to like, say it like you just said is one thing, but then to live through it, I know. And to,
I feel like your discipline is your control though, because you're very regimented, and this is the way we do it. I even watched in your day in the life, your Sunday. I was like, man, this girl's got it. You got your routines down. There's something about the control in that though, where it's like, okay, that might be, or maybe not. Maybe that's your happy place.
Yeah. There's control in it for sure.
Which is amazing. Yeah. You feel amazing when you're like in it. Yeah. But do you get the anxiety when you're not 100% on, like when you're not executing on all of your like eating clean and this and that? Do you feel like a weird, not good about yourself? Like, are you hard on yourself?
Hard on myself. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If I'm being honest, I am hard on myself because I want to live a life of longevity. Yeah. And with that comes taking care of things now. So that's what I'm trying to control. What I'm trying to control is the outcome, and that's how in today. That is how I can control that.
It's so amazing. At least you're aware. You're young.
I'm not saying it's right.
You're young though.
But 28.
Oh my God, you're a baby. Yeah. I'm about to be 40. If I could, I applaud you. Push the applause button. You need to applaud yourself for figuring this out now. Seriously, girl. Like, give yourself and I can feel it already. You're like, nope, I don't want to take this compliment. I'm gonna nope, I don't want it. Accept it. You are doing so well, and you're ahead of the game to figure this out now. Like, I'm even gonna get emotional. If I could have figured this out in my 30s, it would have been just an easier journey. Not that it was hard, but it was hard. There were things that were hard. Yeah. It was really hard. And I feel like my 40s are going to be my era. Like, I'm going to be in my best self.
Yeah, it's main character energy.
Yes.
For sure.
Boss bitch energy.
That's right. Right. Yeah. It's a thing. It is definitely a thing. I definitely feel like it's like a healthy type of control is what I like to like. Because there's like, in my opinion, like, control is kind of stemmed from fear.
Oh, scarcity mindset, 100%.
And then, faith is stemmed from love. so there is kind of this balance between like, okay, there are some things that are in my control. My response, how I take care of myself, the way I view myself, the way I think about myself, those are all within my control. And that's kind of like a healthy control versus like trying to control other people and other situations.
Right, the things that you can't. The things where I struggle and where I think a lot of people like you and myself do is that my control behaviors were so extreme because I wasn't feeling the other things that I should feel. So like I have a very distorted relationship with food, okay? And that control, if I can control not eating for this long, if I can control what goes into my body, if I can control that, and when I'm like on point with not eating sugar, not eating that, like I feel so good, it's because I don't have a good relationship with myself. Does that make sense? Like, I think women in general in the United States have a very distorted relationship with food in general because there's so many factors. Like, and this would be like a whole podcast just on deep diving, like the mental fuckness that women are going through with body image and things like that. But like a lot of that came from my mom because in Asian culture, women are meant to be petite and thin, and beauty has such an underlying worth in the Asian culture that she had a mixed baby. I'm half Dutch, which is the largest people on the world. Like the Scandinavian culture is like the largest people, and the Filipinos are tiny. They're petite. And I took after my father. I'm 6'1". Like I'm big compared to a lot of Filipinos. So like from a very young age, I was taught that I'm fat and that I shouldn't eat a second helping. Like, so I had a weird, not that she did it purposely to hurt me.
No.
But what I want to stop is I don't want to give my 3 kids those same complexes or issues, you know? And I feel myself already doing it, but opposite. So like my kids are very athletic and lean and tall and thin. And I want them to build muscle. So I'm already shaming them. Like how much like, let's get on the scale. Did you gain weight? You know what I mean? Like, which is the opposite. I'm not body shaming them thin. I'm slightly body shaming them to be bigger. And you know, I think it's like exhausting.
It's exhausting to like, cause you can like, I don't know about you, but I can like go down a fucking path with it. It's knowing that my worth is not based on what I look like. My worth is not based on
which
how
is
much
so
I produce.
Hard though, because you're beautiful, and we've put a lot of value in people telling us we're beautiful, right? And we know we are, okay? So we know that we're attractive, but yet we're still not attractive enough, maybe in our minds. I don't know.
You know, I don't know. It's like I follow the things that I'm attracted to. So like, you know, just cut my bangs. Why? Because I fucking wanted to. That's why.
Everyone loves your bangs.
Whether or not, but I don't care whether or not you like them or not. You know what I mean?
That's good.
You know? Like I hear criticism. I'm sorry. No, let me restart. I don't hear criticism and I don't hear compliments because it's me versus me.
Have you always been that way? How do you not hear criticism? When I'm criticized, I'm like, I'm a notorious people pleaser. I want everyone to think I'm like the most amazing thing ever.
This is one of those things where it's easier said than done. I'm not good at it every day.
Man, if I could not hear criticism, I think as I've matured and as I've been starting to do work, I think criticism has been less of an effect on me.
Yeah.
But it still crushes me.
Yeah. I feel like I do my best with it. Like there have been several situations recently where, you know, my personality and just who I am is kind of under attack. Or it feels that way anyway.
Is that on socials?
No. Like person to person. And
Ew.
Yeah.
You gotta take that toxic shit out of here.
Yeah.
Like, who is that?
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
And so, you know, in the beginning, I do hear it. But then after I kind of like work through it and I'm like, you know what? This actually has nothing to do with me.
Correct. See, this was good shit. We're going to continue it while she's fixing my hotness on that camera that I overheated. This is what I think. When you are correct in the fact that it is not you. It is something internal that someone is projecting onto you with their issue that they have with you. But I think, especially as females, a lot of that is jealousy. A lot of that is insecurity. That a lot of that is coming from their internal battles.
Truth.
But anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like this podcast took a completely like...
I know.
Call Her Daddy vibe. We should have like Call Her Daddy, like, do you listen to Call Her Daddy?
I listened to like a couple episodes.
I love her. I love Alex so much.
So going back to my original statement of like not hearing criticism or compliments, I say that like a hard ass, but actually living through that is work.
Oh yeah, every day. But it's your mantra and it's your intention and it is your manifestation. Right? That every day you tell yourself, I am not affected by other people's opinions of myself.
No, I just, it's, you know, how was I yesterday? Or the last time I encountered a situation that resembled this one, how did I do this time? What can we improve? What can we...
Oh my God, you do such good self-reflection.
You know, I sometimes I'm like, I'll do, you know, something dumb at home, and I'm like, I'm such an idiot. Like, no, I'm not an idiot. I just made a mistake, you know?
Or you're not, and you're completely on point, and their reaction was really fucked up.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Just saying.
Oh, wait, we already addressed that. We derailed.
We did. I told you, I was like,
So
content
derailed.
is not going to be a problem for this podcast. I promise you. Time might be, though.
Okay, biggest success in business. Man, we got off track.
We did.
Biggest success.
Biggest success, I was voted National Association of Mortgage Brokers, like, Broker of the Year.
Yes.
Yeah. I was pumped about that. I think that's huge, and I don't celebrate. I don't want it to be because it was definitely a we thing.
Sure, yeah.
With
you have a
the
team.
entire company,
Absolutely.
you know? But for us to be recognized on such a big playing field, you know, like how many mortgage brokers are there in the freaking United States? Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Maybe. At least. There's probably 100,000.
And they named you.
Me.
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has to do with social presence, though. I'm not even going to lie. I was like, what metrics are you using for this? Because it's not volume. There's definitely like we're in the Midwest. Come on. Like our loan sizes and our home prices are so much smaller.
But if that's true, that's a testament to the work that you do put in to social. By the way, plug here.
Oh yeah, you got to follow her.
You have to follow her. She posts such great stuff. And it's not always mortgage related.
Ew. Who would watch me if it was all mortgage related? Come on. Like, gross.
I don't know.
Everybody loves the house. No one loves the mortgage. Yes, I know. Like, we cannot talk about our industries.
No.
Like, it better be other value.
I have to
We're like the unnecessary evils of homeownership.
Yes, we are the nuisance.
We are, but we're required.
The shit
like,
that you
they
gotta
need
pay
us.
for, and you don't know. It's like the gnat that just won't go away, but you know it's serving some sort of purpose in the world, but fucking
1000%.
go away.
We will never.
Never.
So like I try to do like a pop culture entertaining take with some like I try to, did you see like
the
are they
Drake.
Getting better? Yeah.
You have
I was like
to,
Big Poppy. I was like, okay, see, I'm trendy, cool. I'm cool. I try to incorporate just some like things that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So eventually I do want to do like a get ready with me. I do want to do an outfit of the day. You know, eventually I think I'll get there. I just don't think I have the following yet. And this is me probably questioning, I should just put that shit out.
Yeah.
I think people are interested in it. They want to see like how it is me being a mom. I do a lot of personal stuff on my content though. Like people see my family.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
On your stories, you do a lot of personal stuff. And then I see, this is just how it pops up for me, your business related stuff more on my
linked it like that side.
The piece or the oh my god, the feed.
Oh, your algorithms. See, isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm. That's how I usually see it.
That's cool though.
Your business in my feed and then personal.
You want to know insider secret why that is? I guarantee it.
Huh?
Because I'm personally doing my stories, right? So that's me live in my real life. My team that runs my Instagram, like that's all pre-recorded content. So they're the ones putting in my feed. They can't put it in the stories. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that is a good balance, but that's good to note too, that maybe sometimes I do need to do some personal stuff in the feed because I want people to know I'm a real person.
Yeah, of
I want
course.
people to know that I'm really like, I'm human too.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think the biggest struggle has been for you
we
to
already
overcome?
freaking talked about this.
So you think it's the personal stuff?
Oh my God, it's personal stuff that's just on the journey that I'm now, but it's people. Girl, it's people in general. Think about it. Any business would be wildly successful if you can find the best people, right? Yeah. Any business. Take any business.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. People matter so much more. And that's what's scary about where our world is trending. Like, if technology can truly replace people, what's going to happen? Businesses are going to explode because they don't have that human factor any longer. It's been so long that like those who find the talent and can retain talent and attract talent are the ones that are going to be successful. Hands down. Used to be that way. Can AI take that over? I don't know. Maybe. But do you see what I'm saying? Like same thing in here, like how amazingly and wildly successful would your agency be if you could just find true good talent? And how do we do that? How do we attract it? Do we put ourselves out there more? Do we put our personalities out there more?
It's so validating to know that, like, do you follow Buff Bunny or Heidi Summers on?
No. Buff Bunny, I like her handle, by the way. Is she buff?
She owns Ish. She's like yay tall. She's like yay tall.
She could work on herself.
But she's not like, you know how there's like, okay, she takes care of herself very, very well.
I envision like a jacked Playboy bunny.
Not that.
Oh, okay.
No.
She needs to change her.
No, it's not like the Energizer Bunny character. Right now. Yes. But she posts on YouTube, and I was watching one of her, whatever they're called, episodes or clips.
Time. Can we talk about this? How much content are you consuming on YouTube?
I would, on YouTube specifically, I would say 30 to 45 minutes a day.
See, I feel like, is that normal? Are people on YouTube the way that I feel like kids are on YouTube. I feel like I'm not on YouTube that way.
I grew up watching YouTube.
See, so you're that generation. So I am putting content on YouTube, but not focusing on it a ton. Mm-hmm. And my team keeps telling me, hey, YouTube Shorts, you need to keep doing those.
Yeah. Girl. I'm terrible about it. I keep saying that I'm going to do it, and then I don't. I
mean, she's definitely a bunny. And she definitely went from not being Buff Bunny to Bunny.
Yeah. So she's like,
yes.
You see what I'm saying? She's like very much.
Viewers at home, look up Buff Bunny. She's definitely a bunny. Yeah. I wouldn't say buff, but she's a bunny.
Yeah. But she was talking about how one of the hardest things has been in her business is finding the right people. And
because she's selling something that's very, at first glance, she's going to turn off a lot of people because she's selling something that's very sexualized, according to her Instagram.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot of females that are very triggered by this content.
Yeah. From my understanding, she tries to be very inclusive. So she's got a very, very big range of body types, like as models on her website, and she has a whole bit on like the relationship we have on your body. She like,
oh my God, her thumbnail on this. I'm like, viewers at home, that's like an ass.
You kind of have to. I know. At first glance, you're right. I followed her for so long. I'm like so bought in.
Yeah, that you're like bypassing this. So at first glance, from a complete stranger that has never consumed her content, I initially probably wouldn't take her very seriously.
Really?
But this is the reason why is because it's very sexualized, and
You're not into it.
I'm not looking for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like Layla Hirosi's going that way a little bit. She's getting very sexualized with her, but
I was going to bring her up. It's funny that you say that. I literally just posted something on my...
Are you going to tell me my voice sounds like her?
No.
Thank you.
No, absolutely not. No, I was going to tell you that she made something that we were talking about earlier made me think of this clip that as a business owner, you are willing to experience a wider range of emotions versus like whenever you're a W-2 employee, there's a level of control and safety. Whenever you're a business owner, you are exposing yourself to a completely different range of fear.
Oh, 100%.
On a different level, right? Because not only are you putting yourself at risk, but you bring people on, now you're putting them at risk. You've got these other people. So it's just a completely different dynamic.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it was an interesting clip. And something that we were saying earlier made me think about that clip. About that. Yeah.
I think that's so true because we're accepting so much more responsibility and people's lives are really in our hands. The way that I thought about, though, the reason that I wanted to embark on so many entrepreneurial journeys and create so many different types of businesses was because I never wanted someone in control of how much money I could make.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
was another thing about dentistry.
Factor. Yes, yeah. Exactly. You're like,
and my time.
For sure.
I mean, fuck the money, my time. You're gonna tell me that I need to be here at 9 a.m.?
I'm so impressed that you're this young that you can realize the value of time.
Yeah.
Like, you're so advanced.
Yeah. I like to tell myself that I am.
You are. At 28, if I was just saying the things that you're saying.
Yeah. Living through it.
Big things are ahead of you, my friend.
Yay. Oh my God. Thank you for manifesting for me. I feel like, earlier I said, I don't care with you. That's so harsh. I care more about the fact that you and someone else is willing to swallow their pride and put energy towards giving me a compliment versus the word itself.
Yes.
Like that's more valuable to me than, oh, Michaela, your hair looks nice today. The fact that you took time out of your day to acknowledge my existence and that,
It made me cry.
You know what I'm saying?
It's very sweet.
It's the energy of it, not necessarily like I'm not gonna get caught up in, oh, apparently my hair looks good whenever I do it like this.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
People took time, because time is the most valuable asset that we have.
Yeah, and like I've put myself in a situation where like feeling like if I say something nice to her, well then it's gonna take away from how awesome I am. Like, what a fucking piss poor way to live. So
I've never thought, that's what's so crazy that females actually, I've never thought that way. I've always downplayed when someone gave me a compliment. Like, for example, if someone said, hey, I love that blazer, I'd be like, oh girl, it's last season, discount sale, whatever. Downplay it because we never want to seem, I never wanted to come off like I felt higher than, or like I was egocentric, but what we should just say is thank you.
Absolutely. Because someone took time to say, you are fucking awesome today. And I love your vibe today. I love your hair and your eyebrows and your jacket.
We should just be like, thank you.
Yeah, and thank you.
But why is it our natural reaction to be like, oh, but no, my skin's greasy, or like, no, you can see my pores.
Oh, I did do that earlier, didn't I?
No, we both did. It's our natural tendencies. We have to think like, thank you.
To make the other person feel comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, why?
Why? I don't know.
Like, why do I feel so holier than thou that me accepting a compliment is going to make you uncomfortable?
They're giving us the compliment. Why can't we just say,
exactly.
Yes, I am a badass today. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Like, I'm guilty of it all the time. Someone, earlier today, someone said I smelled nice. And I made a self-deprecating joke to be like, actually, I showered, so I'm pretty proud of myself. I have 3 kids, and like, if I shower, that's a win for my day. To me, it was...
You did it.
It was funny because it kind of broke the ice, because that's probably not the response that she thought. I should have just said, thank you. I love this perfume too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should have.
It's Baccarat. I didn't want to tell her that.
I paid a lot of money, so I fucking better smell good.
You better notice how good I smell, because that bottle was very expensive. And I put like 3/4 of the spritz on, okay?
I didn't even squirt the whole way.
No, I didn't, all right?
Trying to salvage all of it. That is hilarious. But yeah,
viewers at home, make sure you comment that you got our joke, because I don't.
I was gonna say something else, and now I don't know what I was gonna say, because that's how my brain is. But yeah, I do that. I've done that. I put myself in a shitty position. But on the bright side, we've learned, we've grown.
Yeah.
In theory, most of the time, most days.
But we're more aware of it.
Yeah.
So we know when
it's
we're
the awareness.
Yes.
That
and
is
it's
key.
the work.
That is
the work
key.
is never going to end.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're like me. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, put me in a therapy. Tell me what I need to do. Give me a checklist, because I'll go through it and I'll do A, B, C. How long is this going to take for me to be fixed? Is like my basic, every time I interview a new therapist. Like, how long will it take
time
you?
Frame?
Yes. Give me when I will be.
What does your therapist say?
A lot of them, I think a lot of them kind of have like, oh my God, deer in headlights type of like, what am I dealing with this person? Because I come in like kind of like a bat out of hell. Like, look, I don't have a lot of time for this. I don't really want to do this, but I know for the sake of my relationship with my husband and my family, I need to put in this work.
Yeah.
in the beginning, I think a lot of them are like, well, it doesn't work that way. And I get frustrated because I'm like, you need to tell me exactly what I need to do today for me to feel better and to fix myself. And it just doesn't work. I think when you accept the time and you accept how much we have to unravel in these layers that we've built up to kind of protect ourselves from that.
Like that's totally what it is.
Like peeling that onion is going to take a lot longer, and there isn't a time frame. It's really like, I'm really working on being accepting of like the energies and accepting of the universe. And like, I know that the auction that I was just at the Illuminate, which is Children's Mercy's mental health non-for-profit project that they're pushing out. They just did an amazing, it's Red Hot Nights. They just had an amazing auction. And I say I won. I bought a really, what I find interesting, like Reiki healing package to get all of my chakras like aligned. Is that the right word? Like aligned, and then open my heart chakra and like be more open to that energy and to like open my third eye, you know, so that I can start to move more into that. It's feminine, but feminine, like universal awareness of energies that are happening in the universe.
Yeah. It's a journey. And sometimes I ask myself, I'm like, okay, surely we're nearing the end of like a revolution. And then
what's crazy?
It's going to be ongoing forever.
It's forever. And your journey and your work is going to shift and change. Like, I'm so happy you're doing your work now, because when you do have children, if that's in your future, I'm not imposing. I just think you and your husband are very amazing, and you make very amazing babies. So if that is in your plan.
We do want to have.
Okay. I didn't want to like self-impose my beliefs onto you. But when you have children, it shifts a lot of where your attention goes to, so that if you hadn't done the work yet, I found myself putting all my focus onto the kids. So it's just another reason that I didn't have to work on all of these other things within me. Does that make sense? So like all of my attention and my work and my focus, if it wasn't in the job, in my business and like what I was building, then it went to my kids. So I was now like third down the totem pole.
Yeah.
Fourth, sorry. Sean should be in there. My husband should be before me too.
So you had all these things to focus on.
It was just another reason that I didn't have to do the work on myself. I feel like this type of podcast would be so good to have like high achieving women, particularly because I think we're the ones that are more aware of like some of our behaviors and what's doing it, and talk about like what made us super high achieving, why do we have that drive, and our journeys. Yeah. Because I think stories tell so much more.
Yeah. And they're relatable.
Oh, 100%.
People can like see themselves in
or
a
hear
story.
And hear themselves. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like whenever part of another reason, you know, being a dental hygienist, I was labeled slow.
Slow?
Like, you know, mental or whatever.
By whom?
By, I don't know. By like one sector of, I know.
I am so sorry. This is like, is there like a laugh, like a hilarious laugh button?
I don't think so.
But I think there needs to be, because that is never what I can put a lot of labels on you, Missy, and slow would never be one of them.
That is, and you know, so part of going to dental hygiene school was to prove to myself that I'm not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and so I'm out of that now.
I know, but I know that's just sad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I lose.
So like every night you need to like hug the little girl in you.
Yeah.
You're enough. Sorry, I shouldn't be moving. You're enough. Oh, I did it.
Oh, there. We're back.
Okay, I'm not touching it anymore.
Okay.
Not hugging myself, but hug the little girl and you'll be like, look, you're enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And whatever, even if I went back to doing dental hygiene, that would be enough. Not because I needed to prove it, like I was enough before, but just, you know, society values things differently than how I value things.
For sure.
They value great grades and great reading capabilities. You know, I think
that's shifting. I think it's shifting.
It is. It is shifting.
I think we're in the entrepreneurial culture, like culture era, entrepreneur era. And Gary Vee is one that we can thank for that. Grant Cardone.
Do you like Gary Vee? I really love him.
Gary Vee. Sometimes I have to be in a certain mental space to consume his content, because he is very squirrely and like ADD type of train of thought, and sometimes I have a hard time following. So I'd really have to kind of be on my A game and clicking on all I actually have coffee before I can consume Gary Vee content.
Yeah.
Whereas like Elena, that we talked about, Elena Cardone, like she is someone, like if I'm putting on my face for the morning, I could listen to her because she's inspiring me on some sort of level to like be like, okay, this is what I can work on for the day.
She's more like a soothing.
Yeah, but motivational still, because I feel like a lot of her content does help things.
Absolutely. But her energy is like just so different from Gary Vee.
It's very different.
Not that like, you know,
alpha,
jab, left hook or whatever it is.
Jab, right hook.
We already struggled. Did you tell me a struggle?
Yeah, the people. Remember, if we could find...
That's right.
If I could like build a trade school on finance for the mortgage business, and honestly in any type of business, if I could build a school that would train on the traits that make someone successful in sales or an industry, like a sales school for the production side, and then like an ops school for like what is going to happen when this old baby boomer generation gets out of our industry. You guys, have you talked about that? Like there's going to be huge transfer of wealth. Like is there just going to be many, like you've just got to build up such a net worth that you can just buy these books? Is that what's going to happen?
Yes. That's actually the opportunity that, and it's been mostly Jake that kind of like informs us on, or informs me on how it'll play out. But they're all getting old, and they're all going to retire.
And they haven't implemented technology, and they haven't implemented systems and processes in a CRM. Like when you guys do that and get that book, like how, that's why I love Layla Hermosi so much, is like acquisition.com takes some of these boring businesses and like implements tech or implements systems and then like 10-folds them, 10x's them, and then you can sell them.
Is that what they do?
Acquisition.
I've never fully understood what acquisition was.
Yeah, I think acquisition.com basically buys up. For example, let's take like a plumbing business, okay? This trade, typically man, that will go out and be a plumber, doesn't have a CRM, doesn't do monthly mailer blasts, doesn't do a referral incentive, doesn't do social media marketing.
Apply those.
Correct. The same general concepts to boring businesses, increases their value, and then sells them on a premium.
Interesting. Okay. I have only recently started following them. Yeah. That would be a project. I mean, every situation.
I think her content's different. I think her content is trying to do exactly what we're doing, right? And trying to like figure out some of the traumas and some of the mental blocks that we have that prevent us from becoming more successful in business. But I think like that's super interesting content for me, is to like, okay, how do you acquire business? What things do you implement first?
Yeah.
Like implementing funnels or implementing a social media strategy. Yeah. What ROI does that typically have? And then putting a multiplier on it and then selling it. You know, I think that's super cool.
Yeah. Interesting. So we haven't gotten, we've talked about being a female in general.
Yeah.
And then there's being a female in a male dominated industry.
Yeah.
And I want to hear your angle on your approach and then your, you know, if your approach did or didn't work, how do you find yourself thriving in that environment now?
See, that's so crazy to even hear you say that I'm thriving. That I need to say, yeah, I am thriving.
Yeah,
I'm thriving for sure.
Dude,
you know,
but literally like, just, what was the award that you just mentioned?
NAMB, like National Association Mortgage Broker of the Year. I get it. Okay.
National.
Yeah. I'm thriving, but even to hear it, it's such my nature to be like, oh, I could be doing better here. I could be doing.
And again, you could.
Again,
absolutely.
I need to just accept to say thank you. Yeah. Okay. In the beginning, when I was young and like just wanted to take the bull by the horns and like win at everything, that was a lot of like my personality back then. I was just aggressive with everything. I honestly didn't even know that we were like on a disadvantage by being a female, because I was just so like driven to be the best and to hit every sale. Like, my mentor at the time gave me like metrics. I'm like, I'm going to hit that. Like, I'm going to double it, you know? Like, I was just that type of aggressive athlete personality. Like, if someone gives me like rules and regulations to follow and like formulas, I'm like, oh, so if I multiply that by 2, then the result will be double, right? So I just had that personality all the time that I just go and kill it, and I did well.
Yeah.
So I didn't ever feel disadvantaged by being a female.
Good for you.
Until I started getting to the top, like the top, where a lot of time mortgage companies are either backed by banks or there's a fiduciary FDIC charter behind them. It's very corporate, and we're in the Midwest, and I first started feeling it when the CEO or the CFO of these banks would see what I was making.
Yeah.
And not like that. They wouldn't verbally say it, but then they would put some sort of way or put some sort of like cap or change a comm structure or do something to make it so I wasn't making that much. And I hated that. I was like, why is someone in control of my income like that? If you told me X plus Y equals Z, X plus Y should always equal Z. Like, you can't change it mid-game. You can't change my goal. You can't change. And it happened a lot. And I think a lot of times mortgage companies and banks didn't want so much of their production to be on one person. They didn't.
Yeah.
They almost didn't want that type of personality to manage. And I think a lot of strong females have that, where they don't want top producers that are female, because they assume that it's going to come with a lot of drama, a lot of baggage, and a lot of, honestly, they're probably afraid of some of the holes that we're going to poke in their systems and processes.
That was actually
the
main thing that I thought was, is it going to provoke their ego?
Oh, 110%.
You know,
I think
is it going to kind of flare that up for them?
I call mortgage managers and sales managers like the glorified paper pushers. They literally take paper from this side of their desk and they put it over here, and they get paid a lot of freaking money.
Yeah.
That's why you should work with local mortgage brokers, because we don't have that C level of paper pushers.
Yeah.
And guess who pays for that? It's people in their rates. That's why a lot of the bigger companies have higher rates than some of our smaller companies. They have more margin that they have to pay more C level management.
Sure.
Truly is.
My experience with just kind of women in general is, I feel like there's so much area for excuse making, and I'm guilty of it myself. And at some point, you just have to take ownership and say, I have contributed to every single problem that currently exists in my life. Maybe I wasn't the full package problem. There are other outside things that have contributed to the issue as well. But I was a playing part in all of it. And once I personally could, say that and accept it, then
what do you mean?
There's power in that.
I feel like, are you saying like in a female, like I'm trying to understand, like, and apply what you're saying to, like, are you saying like sometimes females with like the Me Too stuff or anything like that, or like?
No, just like, just with any situation, like, I can't even think.
Let's use my situation for that, right?
Okay.
Like, okay, I was told I was going to get paid 1.25% of all of the production that I brought in when I first joined a company. Mm-hmm. After my first year, they saw that W-2 that they were going to have to write me, and it was a lot. It was more than the CEO of the bank. It was more than the CFO of the bank that was going to make. It was a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So immediately after that, they were changing the structure to have me make less and cap it, because the board of the bank didn't want one employee making that much money.
Mm-hmm. What did you do about it?
I left.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Victims would have stayed.
Oh, fuck that.
And they would have, oh, well, woe is me. And, they're not paying me this because I'm a woman. No.
Yeah.
You take ownership of the situation, and you say, I'm not going to tolerate this. This is not what I will tolerate in my life and for my family.
Yeah.
Second.
For sure.
And I'm going to pick my ass up and go elsewhere where I feel like I'm going to be paid appropriately. For sure. You acted in a way that is very parallel to what we see and experience today.
Yeah.
But in a victim mindset, that's what she or even he would have done. They would have just dealt with it.
Yeah.
And what you accept is what you think you deserve.
Exactly.
You didn't accept that.
No.
And you said no.
And honestly, and I hate that I say honestly, that's like my annoying word that I notice I say a lot. Truthfully, how I feel is that that was the reason why I wanted to start my own company. I didn't want anyone to feel that way. And I wanted to be so clear in our goals and our expectations and our comp plan. I didn't want anyone to ever have an excuse of why they didn't achieve the goal that we had set up for them.
Yeah.
But what I'm finding is that there's a lot of people that don't want to be held accountable to their own goals that they're setting for themselves.
Not.
There's everyone in this society right now wants autonomy and wants to be able to build their own system and do these things, but they don't want any accountability to those metrics.
You have to accept that both are going to exist.
And as a manager of people and as a manager of sales, there's nothing more that drives me crazy to agree upon an expectation set and then not wanting to be managed or getting upset when you're being managed up to that expectation.
Yeah.
And then all the excuses come. Well, my dialer doesn't, or like whatever it is, or hey, I only want to use my cell phone because there's a delay in the dialer, or whatever the thing is that salespeople come up with.
Yes. Yeah. I want to be held accountable. I want someone to say, Michaela, you said you were going to get this done.
Do you have a coach?
No.
Do you have any type of mentor? Girl, you would love it. You would thrive in coaching.
Like what do you use?
Like a business coach. You guys there's never someone who's someone in the insurance space that you love and think that it's like they've built some amazing empire.
Elena and Grant Cardone.
Yeah, then have you ever thought about coaching with the Cardones?
No, I've thought about having a coach, particularly a business coach, but I just don't even know where to look, who to trust.
Start consuming that content.
Yeah.
Start thinking of start looking at places where you can say, okay, who has blazed the path that I want that I can just rip and repeat.
Yeah.
Because that's how you achieve success so much faster.
Yeah. And
I think you would thrive in it. You want structure, you want accountability.
Yeah.
You want
I want someone to say, Michaela,
you're on the right pace.
You're missing your own mark here.
Yeah.
Why? And the only answer that I would ever offer up is because I didn't make it a priority. Or conversely, you don't have the right team around you to give you the ability to make it a priority. Yeah.
So for example, and I don't know what your mundane tasks are like in insurance, but I know that there's a lot. Like if one of the goals that you wanted to have was, okay, I want 4, retention specialists or whatever you call them to be part of, you looked at your analytics and you saw that your retention was lower than the metric that you had set for yourself, and you wanted to hire 3 more staff members to basically have enough bandwidth to do that. Then you could think, okay, what got in the way of me hiring those people? Do I not have the access to the good people, availability? Do I not have the job description posted in the places that I should? A coach would say, okay, let's reverse.
Ask those questions.
Yes, and reverse calculate how much production do you need to support that one new. So then you could say, all right, here's what we use in the past. We use Wise Hire. Here's the job description for retention, whatever specialist. Here's the minimum expectation and the personality profile that they should have. Boom, go. Yeah. That's something that a coach would do for you. You should find one.
Yeah, I should. I do.
And I think it'll just open your eyes to different things that maybe you didn't even know existed.
You're right. And where I'm at in my personal life too, and that's why I was asking you about the networking stuff.
Yeah.
Is I'm trying to intentionally put myself in a room where I'm going to be uncomfortable and I'm going to hate it.
No, you're going to love it. And you're going to flourish and you're going to thrive because you want to be the dumbest person in the room.
Yeah.
You want to be the poorest person in the room.
Yeah.
Isn't there a saying you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with most or something like that? So why wouldn't you want to surround yourself with the most badass people that you can find?
Exactly.
This is what I'm going to tell you about networking groups. A lot of them are bullshit, and they are people that think they're doing sales activities by going out and handing out their business cards, and it's not true relationships. What you need to find is a mastermind.
That's great.
A way, and you need to find where the people that you want to be like hang out. And there are groups that you can pay to be part of, like a BNI, a Business Network International, where it's a group that meets once a week and it's exclusive, meaning if you have the insurance seat, there's no other insurance seats available. You offer commercial line insurance, right?
Yeah.
Come guest at one of my meetings. So I belong to a BNI, and you can see what that looks like. Do I think it's worth for you in our BNI? Probably not, because we don't have a really strong commercial real estate agent. But what it is it will force you to formulate really strong relationships with people, and we hold people accountable to how many referrals they're passing within the group. So for example, what led me to join that group is that the real estate agent was a badass, and I wanted to be in front of her all the time.
Yeah.
So I joined the group to meet with her once a week consistently. And
you joined BNI particularly for this one woman.
Yep.
To be in connection.
Because I knew I was going to see her once a week, and I was going to earn her business.
I see. I see.
So for example, if your main goal is to grow the commercial lines of this agency, or if your goal is to grow the P&C lines of this agency, you've got to look at who the top referral sources would be for that division. So for commercial, it'd probably be commercial business brokers, probably mergers and acquisitions, commercial real estate agents, where they're trying to help some of their investment clients really get that cap rate where it needs to be, right? So like those are the relationships that you'd really want to formulate.
Yeah.
If you're doing P&C, mortgage obviously is one. I don't think real estate agents have as much control as they would like to say as they do on.
Whenever I first started in insurance, my mind was very set on that being completely opposite. Yeah. That real estate would really have the pull.
No.
But
it's mortgage. I'm telling you why, because we need sometimes premiums to be at a certain spot to make the deal even work.
Yes, and now that I'm in it, now I can see that, and
we're the ones that require it to get the loan.
Yeah.
I think.
Where are we at on time?
What time is it?
God. Okay.
Oh my God. We gotta. Okay, we might need to do like a part 2.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to. Okay, this has been part one.
Part 1
of Clear Mortgage with Adriana Bates.
Oh my God.
We only made it through
we made it through 2 cue cards, honestly. But I feel like it was such authentic conversation.
It really was.
That you couldn't have scripted it.
No.
See, look at me looking for validation here. I want her to be like, no, this is the best episode that we've had.
Okay, honestly though, that could be facts. I'm telling you, peak. Mark my words, people, peak. This has been a peak, and I've been so looking forward.
If you love this episode, make sure you leave them a 5-star review. Go ahead and put it on iTunes, whatever platform you're actually listening to this. Subscribe, because you know what? This is not a sponsored. Is it sponsored? I don't think so.
No.
It's not sponsored. So the only way that we can get good content, active content, relevant content, is by getting more listeners.
Yes.
So go ahead, share this episode, subscribe, and leave an amazing review on iTunes.
Leave an amazing review.
Or Spotify.
I'm your backup vocals.
Yes. Oh my God. I love that you have your sound effects. Yes.
Thank you guys. Part 2 coming soon.